what you told me is helpful, because it points to the fact that hose may have another crimp in there. It should be a light touch, it inflates, a light touch, it releases. Something obviously is not working as it should. Now, so we have this label loaded. Normally I would plug in the placenta, and we put the placenta, the umbilical cord, put the placenta in the pouch. I'm going to leave this open because I want to let's show you how it goes through rotation. So if I go in here, back up here, I've loaded the baby. I would normally do the rest of the steps. And then I'm going to close the abdomen. Now I said I want to keep the abdomen open, so I'm going to put in there.
You got tea?
Yeah, you have one?
I do.
I have one in my pocket or in my bag, but I forgot to get it out. So, perfect. Anything like this, a golf tee, a pen, anything that would, so there's a sensor on one side, this side right here. When you have the abdomen in place, the pin on that side will go down in here. I'm going to trick the sensor into thinking there is something in here, okay? Now, I'm going to hit continue over here. The abdomen's open, so wiggle the pin just a little bit. That's fine.
Oh, there we go. Just breathe.
Okay, you can let go. I think it's okay. All right. So now it has rotated the baby. So before we do this, let me silence the alarm up here. Let's talk about how she delivers here. So if we look at in the software there, you will see a picture of the orientation of the baby. Left occipital anterior. Okay. In the previous version of the software, this used to be just a circle. I used to use a circle because I told people it was like a clock. So imagine this is her cervix as you're looking from her feet. And you can see through her vagina, you can see the cervix in here. And imagine you're going to divide this into quadrants. This would be her anterior, this would be her posterior. This would be her left, and this would be her right. The software is indicating the presenting part in the orientation. So it is, imagine this is now the head or the occipital is on the mom's left side in the anterior portion, or left occipital anterior. You can set this baby up to have multiple orientations in here. It could be coming out, in this case it will come out face down. You can deliver it where it's face up, or anything. This is going to go through rotations. As it progresses and the head is delivered, it's going to come through over OA. So this is like 1:30, if you imagine this a clock. OA is the face is going to be down here with the nose, and the occipital is going to be back up here, or at 12. So it's going to go from like 1:30 to 12, and then after the head is delivered, it will go through restitution to allow the shoulders to deliver. That will go through where the head is now in left occipital transverse. The face is pointing over here, or on our clock, 3 o'clock. This is how this is going to rotate. Okay? Now, additionally, in our software, I mentioned that you can measure her cervical dilation and the station. In our software, there is a one-to-one correlation. This isn't necessarily true between the cervical dilation and the station. Okay? I mentioned when we designed her, she had grown by 3 inches. Even with that, the highest point we can have that baby in there is -3 station. We cannot have it at -4 or -5. She's just not tall enough. So when she is at -3 station, she is at a dilation of 6 centimeters. -2 should be 7, -1 should be 8, 0 should be 9, and +1 should be fully dilated at 10. Now, additionally in the software, there is if you look up there, just to the right of the thing, you should see a station on there. It either says 6 or 7. I'll go up, go over to the purple one. Yep. What's it say?
-2.
-2. That's the station, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's pull in here. So do me a favor. So Brooke, what I want you to do is just to the left of the alarm up top there, click on there, and drag that over to put right below the 25. That's fine. And select cervical dilation. You're right in the middle.
Oh.
Right in the middle. Okay, and hit save, accept. Okay. In Maestro, it seems to drift a little bit, but usually it used to be 7 on the station here, but 7.6. As the baby delivers and gets further down, it will go through the chart I have over there. Okay. Now this isn't something that you would say all moms at -2 station have a dilation of this. It's just in her. Just beside the station, there's another button in there called travel. Okay. Travel is for the engineering side. How far down is the baby down the track is. Early on, the travel will sync with the station. So when she's at -3, the travel will be with this. Right now it's going to be -2. All the way down to +5. They'll be in sync. Now, you don't measure beyond +5. You don't say she's at +6, +7, but this travel will continue to increment all the way down to +14. This is nothing that you would ever tell the students. This is your indication of where the baby gets released. It gets released at +14. By this point, the head has been delivered and you're close to the point of being the baby being released. This is where the baby gets released. Why do I mention this? Well, if we go through and we're watching contractions, every time she has a contraction, she pushes the baby a little bit. This scenario has a contraction occurring 1 every 2 minutes. The distance between contractions, a little bit, so there's some wiggle room in there. So 5 contractions per 10 minutes or 1 every 2 minutes. If, let's say during contraction, she is way up here at say +12, the head has been delivered, it's about to go through restitution, very likely she will complete the delivery, i.e. get to +14 before that contraction ends. You do nothing. The mechanism automatically releases. But let's say the end of a contraction cycle is way down here at say +13, and the contraction ends before it gets to +14. Physically, the head would be out. The students are trying to deliver, but the ring says, no, I'm not letting go of that baby because you told me to hold on it to +14. This is where you step inside and you click on manual release of the baby. In other words, if you come back up here to the screen, you click on this part here, which allows you to release the baby. So they don't have to wait that 2 minutes and they're tugging. You can let them tug a couple times and you can click on there and release it. You don't want to do it too soon because what will happen is that if it's trying to rotate the ring will just rotate around the baby. Okay? So when you're running this, you're going to look at what is the travel and what is the contraction cycle. If she's in the throes of contraction where this number is up, then just let it do its thing. If it's between contractions and the head is out, you may want to release that baby. Okay? Now, this delivery is programmed to take place over about 18 minutes. You can make changes in here. For example, I can come in here and if I go to the childbirth, I can change the contraction frequency. This one is going to have a contraction frequency of 4 contractions per 10 minutes. It will move ahead to 5, but that's not going to really buy you a lot of time as far as making it happen faster. What you can do is right above that, a couple above this rate of descent. How far does she push that baby with every contraction? The default is 1 centimeter per minute. I'm going to change that number to somewhere in the middle. Today that lucky number is 8.9. When I click accept, that time drops down to 2 minutes. Now this is not 2 minutes that I can set my clock by, because this number, once I start the delivery, continues to increment even when she's not having contractions. If the time runs out, it will say delivery imminent. I don't really ever look at the clock. All I know is it's not going to take 18 minutes anymore. What I look at is the contractions and where the travel is. So that's a little bit about that. Now, there is a scenario associated with this one. If I come up over here, there's a new tab over here called scenario. I am going to actually go into the first state of the scenario, the one that's called initial assessment. This is where the mom, she comes into labor and delivery 4 hours ago, and she's connected to fetal monitors, which we're going to display up over here. So back over here, if I close out of this and I go into Maestro here, and instead of selecting the software, I select CTG, cardiotachography. And now I have a tracing. And I can scroll or go back in time to when she first came in. This is the history. I can see the contractions were low in amplitude and spaced apart. And as time has gone on, the contraction frequency increase. I can go through page at a time. I can run it fast forward, or I can skip through here page at a time. 4 hours of history. If I come back here to the real time, this 0 mark is the current time, and this is all moving forward. Now they can actually put transducers on here. It will not pick up to record in the software, but they can go through placement of it, and you can go through and make it look like the transducer's not in the correct spot, misaligned, or so forth. Okay? They can do that on her abdomen. You can even add in here the beep, beep, beep of this, or the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh of the ultrasound. Okay? So this is what they're going to see on here. Now, we have this set up ready for delivery. We have the baby loaded. Normally we would have the abdomen closed. We have increased the rate of descent such as it can move along faster. Now, if you wanted her to have some vocalizations, you can have her scream and so forth. You could, under the speeches, you could have a single play off in here. What I always like to do, or people always like to do, is this one.
Don't touch me.
There you go. There are contraction synchronized sounds. So in here, when I cream, I can have her scream when she's pushing. There's a lot of things you can do. Now we're going to begin the delivery. So I'm going to hit play here. And now what will happen is when she begins to have a contraction, it looks like it's going to go up soon, or you can see it over here when it starts to go up. Right now we're still kind of along the baseline here. When it starts to go up, she'll begin to push the baby. Okay, so it hasn't moved yet.
What is UA?
Uterine activity.
Now, it doesn't matter what position she's in, pretty much nobody delivers. Well, you deliver flat if it's short.
So she was designed that you can put her with feet in the stirrups. She can even
Head
deliver in a, yep, you can do that. If head up, as long as you don't have anything for the baby to push into, like if the mattress is open. She can actually deliver on all fours. She can deliver in a squatting position, all those kind of things. The only thing she can't do is a water bath. The electronics don't do too well with that. Okay.
How do we keep her up in a squatting position?
Well, you'd have to have some support for
Okay.
that.
All right.
You'd have to have some support for that.
Doula.
There you go. All right, so now the contraction is starting to come up here. She should scream sometime soon.
Oh, just on move.
But now you can see it start to move here.
Oh, it's moving.
Okay.
I'd be screaming too.
No epidural.
Yeah.
You know what?
So she
I was
actually-
look, you concentrate that energy on pushing that baby
His head's
out.
coming out. No, it does not make you want to do it again. But what is amazing to me is how much they stretch. You know, we were on
It's
these
all one
other ends,
contraction. It's
so-
all one contraction.
Yeah, one long contraction. This is, you don't have to go this fast. Okay?
Now, once it hits that travel time, it's gonna stop, or,
Okay, there's the restitution, okay? Now, what's gonna happen over here, it says confirm delivery, the baby is ready. In other words, it has released it from the ring.
so it hit that magic 14.
After the magic 14 up here, okay? It went away, but it was at the magic
We're gonna have
14.
to help it out.
Now, would you like to go ahead and deliver?
She can just hang out for a bit.
She knows how to do it. We don't.
Is she gonna push anymore, or?
Not right now, no.
You just don't know where the shoulders are, so. Hope they're not stuck. They usually fall out at that point. Wow.
Okay,
Catch 'em.
now, if I come up here and select confirm delivery, this baby will cry because I haven't set it up to do anything else. If I do confirm delivery and do the neonate status, it will have a strong cry. What I could have done ahead of time is I could have gone into the sounds and I could set the baby sounds such that they are weak or off. In other words, when it's delivered, I have options. I could have a strong cry, I can have an absent cry, or a weak cry, okay? So, the baby is out. If I click on neonate status here, it will show the projected APGARs of 10-10. If the students maybe don't do any interventions, maybe I'll have the baby not cry until they start stimulating it. So if you start stimulating it, I could turn it on to where the baby is now crying.
Ah,
Oh, put that baby up on
I know, Mom
Mama's
doesn't have a
chest.
chest, so. There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I can turn this off here. Okay, now, let's talk about a couple of things I hadn't pointed out earlier. Up top here, where it gives you indication of the batteries, her 2 batteries and the baby, okay? They're all, fully charged essentially and all connected. That's where you would look to see if the baby is connected or not, okay? All right, so that's the sequence for this. Now, I know it's close to lunchtime. I don't want to interrupt lunch, but we're gonna come back and you guys are gonna go through and load this, okay? We're gonna bring into play the placenta, and we're gonna go through a whole nother delivery from scratch. I'll guide you through it, and then we'll do one more if you want to make sure you're comfortable without any intervention on this, okay?
The more you run through it, I think.
The more we run through it, the better. So if we're done for lunch, I'm gonna stop her or discontinue, so I click on the stop button. It asks me if I wanna say stop, and I say yes. And then I'm gonna power her down, but before I do that, I'm gonna quit the software here, and I'm gonna quit the software over here, and now you can power her down, so just hold the button and let go, and she'll start flashing at you. Is it flashing?
Yeah.
If she's cycling down, I can turn this one off by clicking over here, I can turn this one off by clicking over here.